Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Amber Stewart, aka Jenny Jaguar, and I'm the owner of the Stew Project, where I help busy professionals maximize their living potential by simply taking an emphasis on wellness. More specifically, I help busy professionals overcome chronic stress, anxiety, or depression while getting in the best shape of their lives without hustle or worry in the process. All right. So, um, if you have ever felt like you know what the next chapter of your life should be, but no matter how many vision boards, affirmations, or productivity hacks you try, nothing can get you moving forward. So, if you feel like this and you have so many people tell you, like, oh, divine timing, divine timing, and it's usually those people that have been waiting for 40 years for their dreams to manifest. Well, today we're going to talk about how to determine whether you are waiting on divine timing or if you're dealing with subconscious blocks, okay? Because usually what will happen is the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And so when we are waiting on divine timing, but it's just really in our head, what will happen is our conscious mind will be wanting to grow and expand and move forward, but our nervous system or our subconscious beliefs or subconscious thoughts will be holding us back, thinking we're not safe. So we may be taking steps to move forward, but we may find ourselves self-sabotaging or doing things to hold ourselves back. And so we may find ourselves like almost getting there, but never getting our full dream manifested. So, what do we do? Okay. So, considering how your health, relationships, and career can only scale to the level that your subconscious believes is safe, possible, and allowed, if you've experienced past trauma, chronic stress, burnout, or years of survival mode decision making, then your nervous system has learned one thing very well. And that is to stay small and to stay predictable. Okay, don't risk stability for instability. Okay, that is what your nervous system thinks. And so that program doesn't disappear just because you want more and because your spirit wants more. This is why you have to rework your nervous system. This is why so many people can start a fitness goals, they can sign up for personal training, and then they just drop off. They find so many excuses, things pop up. Oh, I have an injury. Oh, this and that happened. And so, this can happen in relationships. You mess up with somebody, but then you try it again with somebody else and you get to the same level as the other person, but then it just falls flat again. It could be that subconscious programming. You could say, oh, divine timing. But, if it's been 10, 11 years, then, you got to start doing the subconscious work, because we all have our divine connected to us through guidance of the Holy Spirit. So if it's divine timing, it's on you. Okay, but I'm not trying to get that deep. But what I wanted to get into today is, if the resistance is coming from your subconscious or literally just divine timing, like whether if God is just waiting for you to meet up with the right person at the right place, the right time. So, before I get into that, first I want to discuss why being stuck isn't lazy. Because a lot of people, they can be in a waiting period where you're actually supposed to be healing and growing. Maybe you just got out of a bad relationship and you just need time to be alone before you move on to somebody else. Or maybe you just need time to rest and learn how to find joy being alone again before you be with somebody else. But if you don't take that time to reset your nervous system, to relearn yourself, analyze the past hurts and traumas, and really purge it from your system before you move on to somebody, Granted, if you have somebody that can love you through that, more power to your brother or sister. Okay, I ain't one of them. Okay, sorry, but yeah. But ideally, relationships are a lot less chaotic when you go into them with a healed heart and emotional intelligence. But most high performers, we're always trying to get the bag, always trying to get the awards. We don't really struggle with ambition. We struggle with internal conflict. And so it's hard to show. We usually try to mask it. We don't want to talk about it because we don't like seeming insecure or weak. And so easily we could, if we just took the time to talk things out with somebody, then we would recognize our limiting beliefs that we're holding ourselves back. But these professionals don't do that. Either our egos or we just don't have the time. And so we ignore our nervous system. That's one of the reasons why I created my stress alchemy coaching program, because it teaches people how to find awareness of their triggers and heal their nervous system without slowing down in their life or career. But what is it? When your mind wants expansion and your nervous system wants certainty or safety, past trauma, burnout, rejection, failure, and instability can train your subconscious to associate more with danger. So when you try to move forward, you don't. Instead, you find yourself procrastinating, overthinking, having random fatigue, ironically, right when you are planning on doing the thing to move you forward in your life. Literally happens to us all the time. But this is why you learn to become aware of it and address it. Now, there's also perfectionism, inconsistent motivation, and starting strong and then disappearing, which is what we see all the time at the beginning of the year at the gym. And diets. So, which is why I don't believe diets work. If you're interested to know why, download my freebie, my Diets Don't Work ebook. Links in the description box. Okay. So let me get into clarifying the difference between subconscious blocks and divine timing, because this is like the main reason why you came here. So subconscious blocks equals internal misalignment and fear-based protective patterns. But divine timing is you being redirected, you're being prepared for your next season, and your alignment is being refined. Maybe you just passed a life lesson. So God, the divine, your spirit team is just holding you in place while it's moving everything around. It's like, okay, so move forward with step 3. Like you're playing a video game and you pass a level, but maybe in another time you played the same level and you didn't have the weapons that you had now. So that's basically the same thing when you're leveling up in life. Like they're taking into considerations what lessons you've learned, what lessons you haven't learned, what lessons you kind of learned, what lessons you have learned but you're still not applying. And it's rearranging people, places, and circumstances around you to push you towards your next level so you can still heal what you need to without being triggered by the things that you've already healed from. Now, signs that you are dealing with a subconscious block. So, you may be trying to move forward, but part of you doesn't feel safe. This can include signs like you're busy but not actually progressing on the thing that matters. You keep getting almost ready but fully never ready. Your self-talk may sound like, who am I to do that? What if I fail and look stupid? I'm not consistent enough. I can't handle more responsibility and I ain't got time for that. So when you say things like this, or if any of these apply to you, then you may feel activated when you're close to success. And then when that happens, your anxiety spikes. You may find yourself emotional eating or having numbing coping mechanisms or habits. You may have sleep changes, doom scrolling, but you manifest, but only from pressure, okay, not peace. Things don't just come. You may been one of those people to wait till the last minute to do your school projects, but you always pass. Okay. Okay. Real, recognize, real. Okay. But you are probably addicted to certainty instead of trusting in the unknown. You want the whole staircase before taking the step. Okay. So that it is. But a tip for this is to make it practical. Okay. So if you feel drained every time you try, that is not always your sign to stop. You need to push through. Okay. Shake it off, because that is your brain shutting down when it feels things are too difficult. And it may be a sign that you need to update the internal story that you're living from. Okay. What is this? There are a lot of different tools you can use to rewrite your mental programming. I go through a lot of them in my Stress Alchemy coaching program. I am currently working on reworking my mini stress alchemy course, my Healthier Happier Challenge. So more details on that, and that should be able to help you as well. But yeah, moving forward. Anywho, signs it might be divine timing, because there is a difference between resistance and redirections. And you may be dealing with divine timing. So divine timing may be involved if you feel calm, but the door hasn't opened yet. Like you're just patient. You're not panicking. Okay. You're patient. And so the desire is still there, but there's a sense of not yet. You may be being led to strengthen your foundations at this time. You may be called to strengthen your character, your skills, your health routines, your boundaries, your emotional maturity. This may be a time in your life where you may find yourself with certain triggers. If it's your diet you need to clear up, you may find yourself dealing with certain gut issues, heartburn. Your doctor may be telling you to fix a certain health condition. If it's a certain type of character flaw or something, you may keep getting the same issues. Maybe your kids keep nagging about something. You keep getting angry at traffic, or something just keeps triggering you emotionally. With skills, you may keep having to getting questions or something at work that requires you to do research. Boundaries, you may have people pissing you off, overstepping your boundaries. Emotional maturity, you may find yourself in constant relationships that require you to be emotionally mature. And you will keep getting these tests until you build those foundations, okay? Because whatever you desire can only be reached until you reach that next level. Remember, it's like a video game. You can't reach level 20 if you ain't past level 18 yet. And there are certain things you need to get on level 18 to make you be able to pass level 19 so you can get to level 20, okay? Now, things may fall apart when you are trying to force, but they make room for something more aligned. So don't be afraid when people are falling to the wayside, when things are falling apart. You may also be getting signs and nudges from the intuition to simplify, to slow down, to let go of a relationship, habit, or environment. So if the opportunity doesn't feel clean, there may be too many red flags, too much chaos, too many compromises of your values, and you will feel that disconnection in your spirit, okay? But you have to remember that divine timing doesn't feel like punishment, okay? It feels like preparation. So when you find yourself in this situation, you need to know, like, okay, you need to stop looking at everything as people. You need to start looking at them as spiritual assignments, okay? Now, One way you can determine if you are waiting in divine timing or if it's a subconscious block, there is a discernment test. And so you can ask yourself this question, or you can ask yourself a couple questions. So, question number one, does this feel like fear or like wisdom? Because fear feels frantic, urgent, and pressure, like you're feeling pressure to do something. But wisdom feels calm, clear, and grounded. Okay? Again, these are things you can feel in your body, in your system. So you just have to stop and recognize the emotions. Okay? Now, next question you can ask yourself is, do I feel expanded or contracted? Do I feel big or small when I imagine moving forward? Do I feel confident or weary? Like, yeah, yeah. Okay. Now, remember, if you feel like you want to shrink, that's your nervous system activating. That's your threat response. Okay. If you feel like you're ready to go, that's you're in alignment and you're ready. Okay. So you need to do the work to align your nervous system with the divine, because the divine's going to keep pushing you, but you're going to keep resisting. Now, a third question you can ask yourself, am I avoiding discomfort or am I being redirected? So avoiding discomfort often sounds like I'll do it later, whereas redirection sounds like this ain't it. Now, the last question you can ask yourself is, if nobody could judge me, what step would I make? So this question exposes whether shame or fear is running the show. And if it is, then you can do some shadow work to overcome it. Oh, Jesus. So if you need help, in the description box, there will be a link for you to download my shadow work ebook that will help you work through those difficult emotions that may be holding you back with your subconscious thoughts. Okay, y'all. So if you want to clear your subconscious blocks without forcing the outcome, one way you can do that is to teach yourself affirmations or transformational power questions. If you don't know, affirmations are ways that you can speak your way into, you can change your subconscious thinking with your self-talk. Now, if it's something that you already believe, affirmations work. But if you have a good way, you can tell if you have a subconscious block. If you say an affirmation and it happens, but it's like a negative something that you want. So say it's, you want a new there's a new dress that you want, an expensive dress that you want. Subconsciously, you believe you can't afford it. So if you say the affirmation, what may happen is you may get the dress, but it may be from a consignment shop or a hand-me-down, or a friend may be like, oh, I bought it, it didn't fit, so you can have it. So that is a good example of how your subconscious blocks can allow you to manifest things, but not exactly what you want. So if that is you, if you keep getting like the bootleg version of your manifestations, then what you may want to do is try a transformational power question instead, because transformational power questions stop your subconscious from fighting you, and they instead turn your brain into a solution finding machine by activating your reticular activating system. Now, business professionals need these tools that work while they live their life, which is why it's important to be aware of your self-talk. If you're constantly saying, I can't do that, this doesn't work, this is going to be really hard, then your reticular activating system is going to keep making ways for it not to happen, for it not to work, for it to keep being hard, which is why you need to make affirmations or ask questions like, man, how is it becoming safe for me to grow into my next level? What would it look like if this was easier than I think? What belief am I ready to release so I can receive more? Another one is, how can I take aligned action without pressure or force? So, whenever you're making these questions or affirmations, you have to understand that you're not here to force your way into purpose, but you're here to align with it. And if you need help, I do have a blog that I created that will help you create affirmations or transformational power questions with more information about that. Now, that is it for today. If you need help, again, I do have my Stress Alchemy coaching program that works on helping you transform your mindset by showing how to transform your health and get in the best shape of your life without sacrificing your career success or relationships in the process. Links in the description box for that. And if you like this content, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what resonates with you, what doesn't. And yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Take care, y'all.